And good morning again. It's 11:30 on Sunday morning. We're doing our usual Sunday morning weekly broadcast talking about practical psychology, Tai Chi, Feng Shui, spirituality, generally topics to get one balanced. Last several weeks, we've been talking about Feng Shui based on Dr. Nancy Santo Pietro's book. And there is Barbara joining
I cannot
us.
hear
Let me
you,
get
so I'm
my
going to try to turn
headphones
it up.
on so I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, so we meet at 11:30 every Sunday morning, talking about different topics of practicality to get one balanced in all different ways, mentally, physically, spiritually. And so anyway, today I thought we'd talk about sympathy, empathy, and compassion. And I talked a little bit about that last week. The idea of sympathy is that you can recognize an emotion which may or may not be true when you see somebody or something, some incident happening. So you see some child, or for example, crying. You might try to figure out what's going on. For instance, you could have some guess. Maybe it fell down. Maybe somebody said something to the child, but we don't really know. All we know is we've had some kind of experience probably like that in the past. So that would be the idea of sympathy. Then you move on to empathy. That would be where you learn a little bit more about what the emotion is going on in the other person, in the situation. And you might do that by getting closer to the person and noticing their body expressions, facial expressions, and even asking them some questions about, what's going on, why are you crying, what's happened, and so forth. So you also will feel the emotion of the person, especially as you learn what's happening. So say the child fell down. Well, you can say, well, boy, in your mind, you would say, yeah, I can recognize that, have that emotion. When you fall down, you're scared, you have physical pain. So you actually, in a real sense, feel the emotion that the child is going through. Okay, the next idea would be compassion. So you not only saw something going on, you learn more about what it is in actuality, other than just a guess based on your experience. But now you know the child has fallen down, and you now do something about it. So you can console the child, you could talk to him, you could ask him questions, or just be there in a calm way. So the idea with compassion is you actually do something about it. So sympathy is recognizing something's happened. Empathy is feeling what that emotion is that the other person is feeling. And then compassion is feeling the emotion and doing something about it if you can. Now, you can't always do anything, but you can at least listen. Something, in fact. And well, let's test Barbara's set up here. Hello, Barbara. Can you hear everything? And
I can hear you and I can see you.
okay, good. Well, we can see you and we can hear you too.
Uh-oh.
So that's good. All right. So,
Are you
for example,
are you using the Feng Shui book, or are you just...
no, we're talking about compassion,
Okay.
and empathy and sympathy.
Okay.
So the Feng Shui book is not on the agenda unless you want to talk about the Feng Shui book. Do you have anything in particular you wanted to talk about on that?
No, we'll go ahead and follow your lead.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't literally have the book right here. Feng Shui, the idea is to balance your life environment. So, for example, in the book that we've been looking at, there's 8 different directions. It's in your room, in your house, your neighborhood. So you have like your north, south, east, west, northwest, northeast, southwest, southeast. So if you, as you enter your house or your room, that's considered the south. And then across from you would be north, and then around the compass would be the different directions. So the idea is there's little charts with little hints on things to improve your environment. So say your east wall is all cluttered or something, so you could clean up the area of the house or your room, and that would put your certain aspects of your life in better balance and so forth. And there's also colors associated with the different directions. Generally speaking, it's kind of like practical psychology, that you clean your closet and clean up your life. And if your house is cluttered or a wall is cluttered, it's maybe a symptom of some cluttering of your mind or your present circumstances. So that's kind of the basis. Yes.
You were talking with Brooke about the Feng Shui, and she was going into the emotions. So that's why I thought maybe you were using this book also.
Yeah.
So where is the space in the home? What direction is that for the relationships?
Well, all of them has some relationship.
Right. But one I thought more than others. And I was thinking it was on the left hand side as you enter the room.
Do you have your book handy there by any chance?
I do, but I don't have a place to set my phone so that I can look at
okay.
the book.
Well, anyway,
I'm not set up.
As you enter the room or the house or the neighborhood or your city or whatever, that would be your south end. That's considered the career in work. So if you're having some difficulties with your career or work, that's the side that you would work on. If you're interested in family relationships and your health, that would be on the west wall. Interested in your love and marriage relationships, that would be on the northeast wall. So that'd be as you're entering the space, it would be on the right corner, right upper corner.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking.
Okay, well, that's considered the earth, which is in the 5-element theory, would be the kind of the mothering type of element where you care for people, which would make sense is the space for the love and marriage relationship. And it's also so if you clean up that area of your environment, that would improve your relationships and also your self-esteem, because after all, one have to have some self-esteem and self-compassion to be able to carry on a relationship.
Sure.
And then on the earth element, one has to be careful if that's your primary personality trait under the 5-element theory, which you can look that up, by the way. And there's a little online test for the 5-element. Just look at the 5-element personality, and it'll give you a 5-minute little test, and you can see which one's your primary one. So if you're Earth, you would typically be in a profession of like teaching, a doctor, nurse, something where you're taking care of people, mother, father. And the danger, which is all good, of course, but the danger is you do it overboard. So you take care of others to the extent of not taking care of yourself. So you have to get that balance in there.
Correct.
And on the traditional Feng Shui chart, that particular area of your environment is also considers your body organs, which would be the abdomen and internal organs. So if you're out of balance and you're an earth element and you have some trouble with relationships or self-esteem, or I'll have some problems with your abdomen area and your internal organs. So the idea is to get balanced and So your body would get in balance as well as your relationships. And your colors, by the way, for that relationship are pink, red, and white. So you might want to take the northeast section of your room or house and use some pink, red, and white colors in there to balance things out.
Or wear it.
Or wear it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other areas of the compass, Feng Shui compass, would be the north would be your reputation, own. Northwest would be your prosperity and wealth, your abundance. Your west is the family relationships and your health. Southwest would be knowledge, spirituality, and personal growth. Southeast would be helpful people and travel. In the center, the eighth area, the center of the room or center of your house, is your health and well-being. So it's the physical, spiritual, mental health and well-being, where all of these surrounding areas come into harmony and bring your health into harmony with increased vitality and endurance, which is also the earth element. And it encompasses all your body organs. And yellow, brown, and orange. So perhaps in the middle of your house or middle of your room, you might want yellow, brown, and orange.
That's interesting because I was just given 2 brown chairs, so they would go in the center of my living room. So that would be just right.
Yes, very good. So, any thoughts, Barbara?
Well, I'm totally unprepared. But why don't we talk about holiday decorations going in with Feng Shui?
Well, how would that fit in?
Well, the idea that I have with Feng Shui is that it's a way of decorating that gives you space to have more emotions. And so during the holidays, then you would want more welcome, more graciousness. And so I think more light. And that's traditionally what we do with Christmas decorations is there are different colored lights that go through the house. So I'm thinking that works well in with Feng Shui. And,
Okay, well, that might be on the east wall, which is creativity and communication.
mm-hmm.
Covers children and children's health, well-being. It unblocks your creativity and your communication. The element would be metal, soft metal.
Soft metal.
Metal is typically the element where your personality would have checklists and do things in order. The parts of your body that are affected are your mouth and lungs. The destructive cycle, the kind of cycle is the earth. The destructive cycle that would be against that would be the fire. So you would, if you want to strengthen your, if you want to strengthen your creativity and communication, you'd kind of moderate the fire. The fire is, kind of like, just like it says, a fiery element, impulsive, very emotional, which would be kind of the polar opposite in some sense of earth, where you're kind of the mothering, the helping other people. This would be white, silver, gray, copper for the east wall for creativity, communication. So that's kind of like a silver Christmas thing where you put the white snow on your Christmas tree, put the little silver ornaments on it, copper colored decorations.
Thinking of the decorations, and we were talking about, well, you and Brooke were talking about in Feng Shui, rituals are often an important part, or interesting part anyway, of including everything. And so the holidays is a ritual, and and you get to use the fire, which is the, the excited energy, and the earth element, because that's the nurturing. So you put them together and you have all this holiday enthusiasm, and then it's creative too. So the kids get to do, or the adults get to do things you don't ordinarily do. And so there's a surprising element, which is energizing, which, just works in a circle with everything, just invigorates everything.
Yeah, that would be true. Of course, all the elements and all of the 8 Feng Shui could involve rituals as well. For example, say your prosperity or wealth and abundance, you might have some sort of a ritual involved in your workspace, for example, that you do. Say you're a writer or something, you might say, well, every morning at 8 o'clock, I'll eat a nice breakfast, and then I'll do a little quiet few minutes, and then I'll start my work. So that'd be kind of a ritual. Your northeast corner, love and marriage relationships and self-esteem, you could have a ritual for that, which of course you do. You have marriage rituals, you have anniversary rituals, family relationships on the west wall, all kinds of family relationships, including the holidays. Of course, we have Thanksgiving coming up, which a lot of people say is their most favorite holiday because it's not associated necessarily with any religion or work-related thing. It's just kind of a family type thing that everybody's thankful for.
It's not a gift-giving thing particularly either, so you don't have to have the stress of hunting that special gift for someone. So.
Yeah, probably the only. Yeah, the only stressful thing for some might be the shopping for food and trying to have a fancy thing going, which could be stressful for some people.
It's true.
Yeah, so rituals.
No, I was thinking if you took one thing you did during the day, like your work time, and you went through that whole circle of elements and tried to incorporate a little bit of that in that one thing you were doing, that would be really an interesting just little thing to do, just to see how that would go. For instance, if you were thinking, well, like in my case, it's really hard for me to get organized to start that day on a certain project. So if you would say, okay, in my earth element, I'm doing this, and that would be the reason, I'm doing this because I want to, make the family stronger financially. So then that flows over into the financial part, and then that's another reason. So you're backing yourself up with all these different elements, which makes it a stronger push. And of course, it's the earth that's wanting to take care of everything. So what are the other elements? We've done earth and finances, and we've done the different areas.
Well, wood is the northwest corner, and the west corner is the personality of kind of like the authoritative personality that typically would be like a boss and makes all the plans and tells everybody how to do things.
Of course, we're all of those elements anyway, but a lot of times we just fall back on to one or two main dominant ones and forget to incorporate the other ones. And life really expands if you do.
Yep.
So,
right. Yeah. So what are you primarily?
Seems to depend on the day, but normally it comes up fire.
Fire would be the north part of your environment, the part across from the doorway. And the idea of fire is a lot of emotions and a lot of just going from one thing to another, for example.
That would be me.
Yes. If you wanted to round that out, then, well, first of all, you take a
The
look at
metal.
the, yeah, well, the creative for the fire would be wood. So you'd want a
Oh,
little more, uh, oh, how would you put it?
authoritative.
Um, yeah, so you could be, you have a little more knowledge about things. So you could say, okay, we need to do this, and some organization. That might be a good opposite of some organization.
I always think of the metal as the organization one, but you're saying the wood?
Yeah, well, the metal is definitely, well, metal is more of like doing things in order and making lists.
Okay.
Uh,
And wood is like being a teacher
so
and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do now.
yeah, or the leader,
Yeah.
the boss at work, for example, that okay, we'll do this now and do this. The metal person might, the wood person might say to the metal person, could you make a list for us of what we need to do today? So the metal person would make a nice list of 10 items that has to be done, and he'd probably do them in order,
Right.
maybe have some details, and then he'd give them to the wood, say, okay, Mr. Metal person has given us our list, and let me go through this and check it. And he might rearrange things a little bit and say, okay, Joe, you do this one over here. Mary, you do this one over here. And so he'd kind of organize from that list.
Okay. Oh, well, and what's the wise one? The water element.
The water would be the south, which has to do with career and work success, changing careers, achieving goals. And the creative is the metal for the wood person, because they would tend to want to make some lists creatively and checklists of being creative. And so um, the water person, they're considered with the wisdom. So the boss might go to the wood or the water person and say, well, for the next 5 years, we need to like make a little, or so what would you suggest? So the water person would go out to his cubby hole and think about it, daydream, and go home, think about it. And then after a few days, you might come up with this 5 year idea. Well, we need to go into a new area for our company, need to change a little here and improve a little here. And then he'd report back to the boss, the wood person, and give us a little report. And then assuming everybody's balanced, then the wood person would say, oh, that's pretty good ideas there. I think we'll take this one in mind. We'll improve this. We'll do a little changing here. And so they'd work together on that, assuming everything's balanced. Now, if they're not balanced, the wood person would say, no, I don't want to do it that way. We've never done it that way before. We're not going to do it now. And then the water person, if he wasn't balanced, he'd say, well, I know this is right. I don't know why. I don't understand why the boss didn't want to do it, because I know I've been thinking about this and I know it's exactly right.
Mm. And probably the earth person would say, well, it just feels so good and seems to make everybody happy, so why not? Out of balance.
Yeah. Well, the earth person might say to everybody, say, oh, let me help you with that. Anything I
Oh, there
can
you
do?
go. There you go.
Oh,
I'll do that for you.
you need any errands run? I'll go do that for you. You need
Yeah.
anything tidied up here? I'll do that.
Interesting. It's so different when you put it into like a personal play as to just pretending that it's out there, because it's in all of us, and how you use it, how we incorporate it, it's going to make all the difference.
Right. Okay. Well, I think we got covered quite a bit of stuff today. Anything else you wanted to add, Barbara?
No, I appreciate being on the program, and I hope a lot more people will also join, because the more
Okay.
influence you have, the more we all learn.
Okay, so we'll wrap this up for today and invite people to watch the YouTube videos and check in again next week. We'll be here at 11:30. You can watch it live or watch it on YouTube. And so we'll see you next Sunday at 11:30.
Right. Bye-bye.